So, what were you gonna say before about like spending less time in your emails? But if there's nothing you want to say because you've not actually got it done yet, we can skip over this topic. But
We've teased it a number of places. One thing that I would love to see is I want on a per account level
mhm,
to on both my phone and my computer
mhm.
to selectively put accounts into sleep or make them
Okay,
go away at certain time periods or for certain time periods. So like, you know, I we call it vacation mode or we called it like weekend mode where you're done with work, you still are like with K9, it's still going to be in your pocket, but you're like I don't really need to know if somebody sends a message at work at this point.
right, right.
I don't want that to disrupt my evening. So instead of having to turn off your notifications for that entire app, we're going to be more granular and allow people to say this account gets snoozed. If I go to it on purpose in the app,
Mhm.
obviously show me everything, but otherwise, don't like let that be invisible for this time period. Or when you're on vacation, that's the same thing applies. And that's one example of a feature that I think will enable people to be, you know, better with their attention and their time and being present. Because I think email, as much as I make an email application and I love email, I also think it's an enormous distraction from when you're trying to do other things.
Mhm. Yeah, I'm bad at replying to my emails, so for me, it's not.
Yeah,
But I let other things take up my time that shouldn't be, like social media. So I'm not much better. It's just I replace one thing
yeah,
with another thing. Right now, you can obviously like delete the entire email, but that's not like the entire account from like Thunderbird. Like that's not great because then you have to like re-add it.
yeah.
And can you manually disable it without like fully deleting it?
There are a number of ways to accomplish this, but none of them are
Right.
like
There's no
simple and
automatic way to
easy.
do it. But it's like, hey,
Yeah,
I want to snooze this between. Say you have a job where you don't have to answer emails like out of work. Like you're not an
yeah,
important person at the position. It's like after 5 p.m. don't talk to me. It's like okay, you can snooze it from 5:30 or whatever to whatever time you start the next day.
yeah,
That would be
yeah.
yeah, that
That's
would be really
exactly it.
cool.
Yeah. And there have been some other ideas where, that's the one that I think is most likely to make it
Mm.
in a reasonable time frame that folks will see soon enough. But I think that the other ones are like still ideating. It's a question of like, is the feature that does this, is it worth the time? Is it actually going to have that much of an impact? I think a feature like that would.
Mhm.
The other ones it's hard because you have to know people don't really use email the same way. Like a lot of people have a lot of different strategies for how they manage their inbox.
Mhm.
And so what you try to do is you try to figure out, well, what are the workflows we can provide that hit the most amount of people? And
Hmm.
that's challenging. So there are some other ideas, but none that I think are like as good as that one at this point. But I wouldn't be surprised if we have, some real like 3 to 5 really marquee, like good well-being. I call them well-being features. It annoys the Thunderbird community that I call them that because they have other names for them. But for me, it they're well-being features. They're features that allow you to put um, guardrails around how much of a distraction email is in your life.
Hmm. No, I think that's wait, one thing, wait, okay, I don't know if you can do this already, but obviously when you get an email, you get a notification if the client's open. Can you set it up right now where you only get notifications from certain addresses that come in?
There are ways to do it, but they're not. Once again, this is like where we can do a lot of good work, and
Mm-hmm.
that's a good feature. That's a good feature, VIP type feature.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which is there are ways to do it, but they can be improved so that everybody knows
Right.
and can discover those easily. And I think that's been the problem with Thunderbird, and probably the thing that was the hardest when I came on is talking to folks and they're like, I wish I could do this, or the more common was I left Thunderbird because I couldn't do this. And me knowing like you can do that, but that it's like in a menu,
Yeah. Yeah.
and you have to poke around a while to figure out how to do it. And that really started to change. That really started to tell me that we had to like change the UX in order to make it so that people could see the power of Thunderbird and make use of this what is a power tool
Hmm.
without having to like get through a wall of text
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
figure out how to do it.
I guess that's one of the problems you have with something having so many features over so many years. Like, there's going to be parts of the code base that were written, 10 plus years ago that still
Yeah.
work just fine today, but the UX they were designed with then is not the way that you would go about it now.